that start time and that end time is major, and having that time that you will put aside just for yourself and give your family that time. When it's their time, you need to be there. Don't be taking no conference calls, taking calls, and things like that. Once I decided to do that, my life just got 10 times better. I really started to enjoy what I believe that God designed life to be. Everything was in harmony at that point, and things just started to flow. And that's where we want to get to, that place of flow.
You know what, Jovan? It's so amazing that you mentioned the fact that it's so important that we have family time. And on Wednesday, I had a young man who was a well-known author, Mo Siegel, and we were talking about relationships. He actually wrote a book on relationships. And we talked about how important family time is. You know, having that relationship not only with your personal environment, your godly environment, your work environment, that you have to put them in a category. They have to be placed strategically in order to be successful. So I agree with you 100% on that. I agree with Mo on that. You have to be able to balance your life in all aspects. And being God is first. I truly believe that you should always put your spirituality first. Jovan, you meet your purpose.
I'm here. Absolutely. Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, I know you are. You meet your purpose and your destiny again. Tell us about that.
Say that last part again. You were a little muffled.
You meet your purpose and your destiny again.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, during that season, and I would say that season left for me for, I would say, about 5 years. I think I went through 5 years of just being out of order and out of alignment with who I was called to be. And so, at the end of that 5 years, or somewhere before in that time frame, I was reconnected with who I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to be doing. Because sometimes, a lot of times we get off track and we find ourselves just going down past that, just what, might not be a bad path, but it's just not the path for you. And that's what I tell people a lot of times. There's so many opportunities out here.
Absolutely.
That are amazing opportunities. But it's just not all for me. It's just not a good one for me. Or at the time. It just might not be a good opportunity. And so sometimes, that's what was happening. I was going down this path of following somebody else's dream and what they felt that I should be doing, what their vision was for my life.
Right.
And so when you do that, you are out of alignment, you're off track, because the only path that we should be on or following is God's path for our life, okay?
Okay.
And so for me, I got back to that place of, sometimes you can be so deep in God that you don't even know you're God.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So unconscious, you're just going and going, and you think you're doing the right thing, but you're just so far off off in left field. And so I think when I say that I need purpose and destiny again, I came back into the knowing of, hey, how did I get off track? Where am I? This is what I was supposed to be doing. I set a mission statement, a vision statement for myself years ago, and when I compare that to what my activities on a daily basis, it's not in alignment. It's not complementing this mission statement or this vision statement of who I do believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So it was at that time I felt like I met purpose and destiny again. I got back into the whole financial arena because I had got away from that, with the vision of a company. I was with a company and their vision changed 10 times, and so my vision changed 10 times, where initially I had a path and I followed the company's path as opposed to following my own path. So I was able to reconnect and get back on track, and that was a marvelous thing. And I think that happened just maybe about almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was able to get back on track.
Wonderful, wonderful, Jovan. And like you said, you know what? Let's not even say that. Let's say what you said to me that really hit a chord was you made a mission statement for yourself. People, explain to people how important that mission statement, what it does to your individual thinking and your goals.
Oh, wow. Well, I tell you what, it's going to keep you on course. First and foremost, if you know an unwritten plan is impossible to follow. So if you don't have a mission statement, a vision statement, is how do you visualize, yourself? What's your vision for yourself and your life? And, your mission is just that. What's your mission? What's your purpose? What are you planning to do? Or how are you planning to accomplish what your vision is? Okay? So if you don't have those defined, you're merely wasting time. You're just kind of like living but dead, so to speak.
Absolutely.
You're like a dead man walking because you're not going anywhere. That's the bottom line. So if you don't have a defined purpose, and the best place to start when you start to figure out what your purpose is and your mission and your vision is to start with what you're good at. What are you naturally good at? And then what do you enjoy doing? Where if somebody said to you, hey, if you do this for me, and you don't even care about charging them, you will just do it just because you like to do it.
Absolutely.
That, more than likely, is a part of your purpose. That's what you should be doing. In some kind of way, you need to find a way to do that and put that in a form where you can monetize it directly or indirectly, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you were born to do, and so that's where that vision statement will come in and your mission statement. It takes some deep thought. I actually, when I created mine, I took a class. I forgot what the class was called, but it was something about purpose, a life of purpose, living a life of purpose, and the teacher there taught us how to create it, and taught us how to pull it out. She pulled it out of us to help us to define, because a lot of times you may need help figuring out who that purpose is, who you are, who you're supposed to be, what you should be doing. And absolutely critical to your success.
Absolutely critical, guys. She said you have to have a mission statement. It's the beginning of your plan. Right, Jovan?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love conversating with Jovan. And when she was pregnant with Jada, she was here in Miami for a few days, and I got to see what she looked like pregnant. I just wanted to throw that out there. Hey, Jovan, now you're on that path. You're an entrepreneur. You're a life and prosperity coach. You do this on a regular basis. You take care of financial illiteracy for individuals who don't understand how to get themselves on the right track. What do you think as far as financial literacy is concerned? What is the primary goal for Americans, women? We're talking women, but Americans also. Where do we start? How do we correct that? One of the most important, I guess, assets of today, because you have to have money to survive.
That's right.
So what would you say would be that starting point to get yourself out of that illiteracy point?
That's good. The starting point, I would say, is, for one, to get your spending under control. Get a spending plan. And a lot of times people hear, and we use this, a budget. Sometimes people run from that word. They're afraid. They think when I say budget, that means I'm getting ready to tell them that they can't go shopping, they can't go vacation, they can't do all this. But no. What a budget is basically a plan for your spending, a plan for your income and how you plan to spend your money. I think that will be the starting point, because a lot of times people say, oh, I want to buy some real estate. Oh, I want to start a bank, or I want to do this, I want to do that. But there is no financial place to do that. They don't have no cash flow. They don't know what their financial number is. And they're kind of all over the place. And so I would say that's a great place to start, is with, that spending plan, a realistic budget that does include, fun. You have to include fun, or it's not going to work. And start there, and then from there, once we get a hold on what your cash flow is, or if there's a surplus, if there's a deficit, then we can move forward on, okay, what type of, assets, investments do we need to start laying toward based on your individual financial profile and goals.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great, Jovan, because you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I used to be a budgetless person. I did.
Used to be a what? Say that again?
No budget. No budget.
Oh, no budget. Okay.
No budget. But you're right. You have to get to a point in your life, and it's a part of being controlled. It's part of being controlled as an individual. It really is a part of being controlled as an individual. So, during this month, we're going to continue to talk about how do we get our finances in control. That's one of the shows we're going to have next week with another guest that's coming on. But I know that you are also acclimated to that part of your life also. Now, Jovan, we're going on to the next step in your life. What's next with Jovan?
What's next? Well, I would say what's next for me is to definitely, I've been in the process of implementing and creating systems for my businesses that will enable me to be a lot more effective, create a lot more leverage for my time and resources. So for me, that's where a lot of my energy is now. And so next for me is just to kind of take where I am now. Because like I said, I just got back to where I'm supposed to be, and now I'm like, starting to see a lot of, the fruits of my labor. A lot of things have come together because I've been so out of whack for so long that it takes some time just to get reacclimated to what you're supposed to be doing. And so for me, it's just to take everything that I'm doing right now and keeping things nice and tight and focused. Because that's another enemy, is that as entrepreneurs, as women, we're naturally multitaskers.
Yes, yes.
So a lot of times, and we've been taught, and it happens by default, that we're kind of like all over the place. We're doing a little bit of this, we're doing a little bit of that.
Absolutely.
And we're not really perfecting anything. And so for me, my goal is to keep a nice tight niche on what I do and take it to another level. Double my income, at a minimum, and just kind of really be one of the best at what I do. That's what I want to do, and I'm keeping that really nice and tight because so many years, like I said, I kind of bought into that whole, multiple streams of income, doing all this and doing all that, which is good. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Only after you have perfected something and you have something performing at an ultimate level that doesn't require a lot of your time and energy. So that's what I'm trying to, my next for me is to build a strategic empire, a business that is going to do a lot, that's not going to require a whole lot of my time, to a point where I can pick and choose who I want to do business with, things like that. But a lot of that takes time, strategic planning, and things like that. So that's where I've kind of decided to kind of focus a lot of my energy on a couple of areas and just allow a lot of the things that are that I have no control over, that I believe that we're in a time in the season. This is my spiritual beliefs kicking in now.
That's okay.
Where a lot of manifestation is going to occur. But then you got to put in that time and that energy in the right places so that you can experience what God has already, set aside this time to present to His people. So that's kind of where I am now. Just getting focused on all these three particular areas in my life. That's where I'm focusing at.
Hey, congratulations, Jovan. Listen, in that statement that you just made to everyone, you say that we are multitaskers automatically, and that is true. Women have been doing that for years. I think if there was just men on earth, they would collide into each other. We really help out in that situation.